And we are just waiting for the go-ahead when the segment starts. So join me now as we go on the air in Toronto and across Ontario. Oh, it's 2 minutes, so I just got an update for control. It's 2 minutes away, so I can actually talk to you for a couple minutes. As you may have noticed, the background does not look like the background you're used to if you watch us regularly, and that's because I'm in a new studio. We have finally moved. It's been 2 years in the making. We have finally moved and had to move stuff to make this move possible. But we're here. Things may sound a little different. Things are definitely warmer, but I think it's going to be really great for the show. And there's a lot more room behind me, like whoosh, whoosh, big room. We're really excited about the change. Get my zoominess back to normal. Vehicle Valley, good morning. It's this afternoon, actually. Morning is come and gone, but it's good to see you. Okay. Not the regular Ask a Traffic Cop. The awkward silence before we connect. So in about a minute, 30 seconds. Fantastic. Thank you for the update. And here we go, joining the Kelly Cutrara Show on AM640 Toronto. Master Technician, you're back. Tracy, you're back. Neha, hello. Kevin, glad you enjoy. Makes sense why it's morning, 9:30, where Vehicle Valley is. Here we go.
Listening to the Kelly Cutrara Show. Thanks for tuning in. 900 CHML in Hamilton, 640 Toronto, and 980 CFPL in London. Thank you very much to the texter from London at 416-870-6400 to let us know that the gray clouds came in about 15 minutes ago. Lots of rain, lots of thunder and lightning, no tornadoes. Whoosh, poor visibility, but that heavy downpour was about 20 minutes and everything's cooled down a little bit more. So light rain now should be there soon. And I guess he means should be there as in traveling eastward towards us soon enough. So there you go. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And I hope you are keeping cool in this heat wave. Joining the Kelly Cutrara Show, as he does every second Thursday, Sean Shapiro, TikTok Traffic Cop. Welcome back. Good to have you on.
Good to be back. And I could use some of that rain in my office. It's really warm in here.
Yeah. Do you really want those fire extinguishers to go off in the office, though?
Maybe not.
All right. Okay. Just do the water wiggle outside. Remember the water wiggles? So great being a kid, wasn't it?
Any kind of sprinkler thing was good back then. Now, not so much. I'm not so interested.
Yeah. Well, here's a really sad story to start us off. I was just heartbroken about that car accident yesterday in St. Thomas. A drunk driver hopped the curve and, this young boy, he hit 5 pedestrians, one of them being killed. He was just shy of his 12th birthday, out at McDonald's with his friends, walking home, getting a soft serve ice cream. It's the saddest story ever. And this person driving apparently was a 19-year-old and, of course, charged with impaired driving. It's absolutely heartbreaking. It happened at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. There is a woman critically injured in hospital now, fighting for her life. It seems like more often I'm hearing about these drunk driving incidents. Is this becoming more frequent again?
I don't think it's ever really stopped. We did a lot of education, and I know when I went to high school, there were all sorts of groups that were very active about impaired operation and education, like OSED and Ontario Students Against Impaired Driving. MAD is still very involved, and we partner with them all the time. The concept of no drugs, no alcohol when you're going to be operating a motor vehicle or a conveyance of any kind is simple. And many people just don't get it. They think that they're okay. But don't ask a drunk person to see if they're okay, because they're not a good judge. Drunk people don't make good decisions. And now we combine marijuana and drug use with alcohol, and it just compounds the issue. But we definitely need to make it unacceptable. So if people let their friends and family do these things, or if they don't talk about it enough, they're lining themselves up and their families and friends for the potential tragedy that comes with it. So many lives lost as a result of, impaired operation. And it's so simple to resolve. You just don't do it.
Sean, are DUI charges usually one-offs, or are we looking at repeat offenders here?
Well, very often the excuse is that they have a problem. They're sick. They have an addiction, and it's not their fault. And the truth is, we do see people who are arrested again while on a release from the first arrest. So many people who are impaired drivers will do it again, but many don't. Many learn their lessons and get involved with the programs and help educate others to stop others from making the same mistakes they did. So for as many as of the bad cases, we have good cases, if there can be good that comes out of it.
I know that Chris said he was coming home from wine country out in, where was he? He was out in, it's the east of the city. I always think of Niagara, but it's why can't I think of where you were, Chris? If you're listening, you can just tell me.
County.
Prince Edward County. Thank you very much. He was stopped by a ride spot check at 11 a.m. last Friday. And how often are the cops doing impaired checkpoints in the morning?
Well, we check it all the time, and sometimes it's because there's a collision involved, or just because we stop them for something else, and we check for alcohol, even if there's no suspicion. We have something in Canada called MAS, mandatory alcohol screening. So even if there's no signs of alcohol, we may demand a roadside screening device test where you provide a sample of your breath, just to rule it out, just to make sure that everybody's doing the right thing. But I can tell you, I've arrested people at 9 a.m. who were still drunk from the night before. They went to sleep, they woke up, they thought they were good to go, and then they rear-ended somebody in a minor collision. But they were drunk at the time. And, I think a lot of people think that drunk means fall down, incapable of speech. But impaired driving could happen at any moment with any amount of alcohol, and it's really something that surprises a lot of people, that they shouldn't be driving, because they say that, well, I'm allowed to have, with a G-class license over the age of 21, you can have some alcohol in your system, but that may still be impaired, even though it's not under the 0.05 provincial limit or the 0.08 criminal limit. So there's a lot of confusion, and the best answer is always no drugs, no alcohol.
All right. 416-870-6400 is the text number. If you want to text a question to Sean Shapiro, our TikTok traffic cop, you can also give a call. We'll open up the lines at 416-870-6400, 1-888-225-TALK. Just anything at all that's road related and you have a question about, he can answer. I have a question about this. There was an Allstate Drive survey the other day that I was looking at. 47% of Canadians drive with unrestrained pets. How is that illegal, and how often are people being charged?
So it's not illegal to have an unrestrained pet. It's not a good idea. We obviously want the pets to be safe in a collision. We want you to be safe. And what happens in a collision is very often that pet becomes a projectile within the vehicle, causing injury. We do have an issue with pets on laps and pets that are interfering with the driver's ability to safely operate their vehicle. So if you have your big dog and they're sitting in the back seat, it may be fine legally, but again, they could be hurt. So we suggest a tether or a crate in the back seat. And any animal should be in the back seat for their protection away from airbags, and to prevent you from having them under your feet in the event of a collision where they may interfere with your ability to be safe. So if they're on your lap, if they're crowding the driver, there's two charges. You can be charged with careless driving. You could also be charged with drive while crowded. And they're simply avoidable. Your dog, cat, or other animal will survive if it doesn't have its head rubbed or belly rubbed while you're driving to wherever you're going. So again, there's not just in a collision, but actually how about this? You get into a collision and you can't deal with your dog or cat or whatnot, and the window's broken, they go wandering off onto the road and get run over. Things that could have been prevented by restraining them properly and safely.
Yeah, that's horrible. Horrible. You just piqued my interest in driving while crowded. You can be charged for drive while crowded. What else could you be crowded with, and what have you seen?
Well, let's say you have too many things or people inside the vehicle and you can't properly maneuver because you don't have full range of motion. That could be a reason. If you were stuffing large people into a small car, that bench seat across the front, sometimes people would take liberties and squeeze in. Well, if you can't access all the controls, if you can't turn the steering wheel properly because of what's in your vehicle, that's a problem. And very often we see people who load their vehicles up with stuff because they're moving or whatnot. They want to capitalize on every square inch to be more efficient, well, that could be a problem, and it could result in a charge like that. But careless
And how
driving
much
would
is the
also
ticket?
apply. Drive while crowded. No, you know what? I hadn't thought of that. I think it's about $110, but I haven't looked it up
Wow.
recently.
That's pricey. That
Most
is
charges,
pricey.
most charges
Yeah.
under the HTA are 110. And then you have some that are lower, like you forget your insurance card, it's only 65. It's a bargain, right? But there are others that go far, far higher.
Okay, I have another question. What if you've, cramming things in because everybody's going away on these staycations and they're going up to a cottage and they got to bring the sticks and they got to bring the inflatable kayak and they got to bring all their gear and they got to bring all their food with them. They got to bring their clothes and they got to bring their pets. And what if the back window of your vehicle is, you can't see out of it? Is there a ticket there?
Awesome question. Your back window can be blocked. You don't have to have your window viewable, and your rear view mirror on the front windshield could be obstructed. As long as you have side mirrors that are viewable and provide a clear view to the rear of the vehicle, it's legal. There is something else to think about, though. If you've packed your interior of your vehicle sky high and it's all stuff, is it secure? Because if that becomes dislodged and falls all over you, and now that causes a collision. Well, even if it doesn't cause a collision, if it's not secured, you can be charged for insecure load. And that's something, again, people probably don't realize is a possibility. Equally, if you're packing everything full and you only have, you don't have any mirrors because you've put so much stuff in the passenger seat that you can't see to the rear, you may have a situation where you don't have a clear view to the rear and there could be additional charges.
All right. Good to know. We're going to take a quick break and then we'll come back with your questions for Constable Sean Shapiro, our TikTok traffic it's hard to say sometimes. TikTok traffic cop after the break. Stick around.
I've said some really strange things when I was going live once in the beginning, where I said some very inappropriate things while trying to say cop. So you let your mind figure out where I went on that, because I said it. And if you go through every episode of the hundreds and hundreds of episodes that I've done, I've unintentionally said inappropriate things, all whilst trying to be smooth on the radio. Neha says traffic chop. No, chop would have been okay. Yeah, it was interesting. For everyone who's watching anywhere but the radio, or I guess you're listening on the radio, because watching on the radio would be awkward. But we're back in 4 minutes with Kelly after their commercial break, so we will continue to. Someone's sending me messages saying you're going to get a permanent ban if you don't stop this live. Let me just report that one as misleading information. I love that I can report accounts. That's great. Jesse we're having lots of conversations in here. Let's see what's going on. We've got Big Jeff Fresh, who jumped in from YouTube, but Kayla Jaconis is back again. And apparently our audio sync is now good because Big Jeff Fresh has told me so. And that's because we have taken our display down from 1080p to 720. And I don't know when this stopped working properly, because we used to have no problem. And I think it's just because many, many more people in our building are using our pipe, our internet connection. And we have high-speed internet. It's commercial grade magic, but we have other people in it. Master technician is at Jane and Finch. Back in town, I see. That's good. Ethan from Australia. Ethan Atticus. Hello, how are you doing? What area of Australia are you from, if you're still in the room? Because I have family in Australia. I really enjoyed it. I want to go back again. I spent months there when I was younger, and it was a fantastic time. I really enjoyed it. I love Australia. And let's see here. Trevor says, go eat donuts. I had burgers instead. We're doing a barbecue here, a fundraiser. So I had barbecued burgers, and they were cooked to perfection by the chef, who remains nameless, but he's a magician at the grill. Aside from a very small fire that occurred, I didn't see the fire. I heard about it afterwards. Let's see here. Hello from Kawartha Lakes. Yeah, hello, Will. I have a friend at Kawartha Lakes that works in the PD there. Used to work here. Unless that's you. I don't think that's you, because his name's not Will. Let's see here. Jesse says, police have the right to break laws for their duty. I don't know what's this in relation to, but ultimately there are laws where we have exemptions. So we're not breaking the law. We're actually written into law. We're allowed to do certain things. And that bothers people who aren't allowed to do them, but we need to do them in order to effectively police things. Like, for instance, we're allowed to speed. We're allowed to go over the speed limit. Really, really bothers people that we can speed legally, even though everybody else speeds illegally and no one seems to care about speed limits at all. 2 minutes until we're back with Kelly. And Papa Smurf wants to know about body cam footage. Yes, you can request video. And I don't know if I would assume that would include body cam as well. You would request disclosure. So that I don't do that. Like, you can't request it from me on TikTok, but you can certainly make that request through the courts. Vancouver is here. Excellent. We're now interprovincial. Fantastic. Can I take my G test right away if I've obtained my G2 for the second time? As long as you have 12 months credited experience, then I think you can take it right away. Jonathan has a question from LinkedIn. It's a long question. Regarding seatbelts, are they required for valet drivers driving for short distances and periods of time at low speeds? So there's something for delivery, which you've actually quoted in your question. I don't know if it qualifies. We're back. Continue the question.
You're listening to the Kelly Cutrara Show. Thanks for being here. Appreciate your time. And you know who's here? Because it's the second Thursday of every second Thursday. It's a by Thursday, a standing date with our TikTok cop. That's easier to say than TikTok traffic cop. Sean Shapiro, welcome back. Good to have you on.
It's always a pleasure. And maybe we just come up with an abbreviated something. I don't know.
Because it's a bit of a tongue twister. I had my technical producer showing off air, saying it over and over and over again, saying it's easy. And then we went through every tongue twister we could till I caught him on one. It was the red leather, yellow leather, nonstop.
Oh, my. Okay.
Oh, yeah, stuck. Let's turn our attention to the phones here. Carlo in Mississauga has a question. Carlo, welcome to the Kelly Cutrara Show.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
Fire away on your question.
Okay, with all this talk about being able to drink in these parks coming up soon, what's going to happen to these people once they drive home? Like, they're going to be drinking at the park. Eventually, they're going to have to get home somehow.
Well, I would hope that they'd be doing something like making a good plan beforehand, which is no different than what you should be doing if you're going out to a bar or a friend's house. Location aside, it's all about planning in advance. So if you're going to be drinking, you should be looking at public transit, of which we have fantastic public transit in the city. When it comes to Uber, rideshare, taxis, like there's no excuse. So the fact that they may or may not be able to do it in a park, I think is irrelevant. But I appreciate the comment.
Because you're talking, Carlo, about the fact that in 20 parks, they're looking at making it legal to drink in parks. I hate to tell you, but they're already doing it in the city of Toronto. It's been going on for some time without it being legal. And I think the other thing is traffic is just a nightmare in Toronto. In fact, I appreciate the call. I think we have Tom Cruise. Do we have a clip from Tom Cruise? Somebody at CTV was asking him about driving in the city of Toronto in traffic. Have a listen. Dave, do you have that? Oh, you don't have that. Chris, did you not give that to Dave? No. Okay. All right. Well,
I like the saying that. Sorry, I was going to say I like the saying that anywhere in Toronto is an hour away from Toronto.
Yeah, tell me about it. It really is. It's crazy. Let's turn our attention then to a question that is related to Toronto, but it could apply to Hamilton as well. Can I move into a bike lane when turning right at a stoplight or any intersection?
Fantastic question. It really depends on the construction and design of that bike lane or bike cycle track. If there's a hash mark at the intersection where the stop is, then you're actually in a best place to pinch the curb as a driver, moving into that bike lane, because that's the way it was designed to do. And that at that point, a cyclist is supposed to pass you on the left. Now,
they are?
In that scenario, yeah, just like any other car or any other vehicle, there's no obligation in that scenario to give them a path through. You can't cut them off. It has to be safe for you to move into that space. But where the hash mark is present is to show that cars and bikes may be operating in the same space. Most of the time, the bike path will have a green painting area that shows or brings attention to the fact that cars and bikes may occupy the same space, similar to driveways where cars are turning, same deal. But cycle tracks, you've got to yield to them. You've got to make sure that you're not cutting them off, and they do have a right to go. They're independent lane. But in the areas where the hash mark, pinch the curb. If there's no hash mark, if it's a solid line, you shouldn't. And what you should be doing is making sure you don't cut off a cyclist, because that ends poorly for everybody involved.
I don't know any driver that has not uttered to themselves while driving, "Where's a cop when you need him?" I don't know if you saw this, Sean, but the other day it looked like it was in the Yorkville area of Bloor Street in Toronto, near like Hazelton Lanes area. There was a guy that decided he was on a bike. He decided
Yes.
not to ride in the bike lane. He just rode in the middle of the lane of traffic and held up traffic. What kind of ticket would he be looking at?
Unnecessary slow driving. Maybe that was even criminal mischief, because what that person was doing was nothing to do with riding. That was some kind of political protest, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know what they were doing, and I have no other information other than what I saw online. But that person was intentionally disrupting traffic, and that's something I would have laid charges for.
All right. Let's go to the phones again. Steve in Oshawa, welcome to the Kelly Cutrara Show. What question do you have for Sean Shapiro?
It's a winter accident related one. Would that be okay?
Sure.
Okay. A few years back, was on the 401, westbound in around the Durham region, Whitby area there. And the snow was pretty bad, so my car there's no other vehicles on the next to me or anything. My car did a 360, and I ended up going up across and stopped against the fast lane. You know where the median is, right?
Yep.
So my vehicle ended up staying there. A little bit distraught, a little bit frazzled, so I stayed there. So I'm not even kidding. There was no other vehicles behind me for at least 5 or 6 kilometers. But slowly, this one vehicle against the guardrail kept creeping towards me, and I had my hazards on and everything. I was sitting there. I stayed in my vehicle. She didn't slow down, and she hits me.
Wow.
So, obviously we went to the place over there where they do the reporting. It was like 2 minutes away. And I don't know if it was the RCMP or whoever monitors the 401. They charged me, even though my hazards were on. I was in the vehicle, and she hit me from behind. And doing that, a few other vehicles ended up hitting her.
Wow.
So was I supposed to get charged for that? Like, if I am. I don't care. But
What was the charge, though? Because your vehicle was disabled, not in motion. You weren't driving at the time. You were effectively a parked vehicle. I don't understand how you were charged. So
I don't remember. All I remember is being inside in the center, and the police officer came out, and he said, "Well, she's in tears in the other room, and somebody needs to be charged." He grabbed me and he charged me. I'm not even joking.
Wow. So that was
And
sounds like it was
we were
the OPP. They're the ones who were responsible for that area. But at the
Yeah,
same time,
right.
that's not something that I could justify or articulate charging you for. The person who drove into the vehicle that was parked or stopped and disabled is the one, in my opinion, responsible. But I wasn't there, and I'm not aware of all of the stuff. Just based on what you've told me, that's how it would go from there.
That is going to lead
Never
to
go back after years and contest that. I guess it's, even though it's off my record and everything.
I think it's a little late for that.
Yeah. You know what? You're just going to lose sleep over it and think, darn, I knew I was right. Stephen, I hope you're okay. I'm glad you're okay. And I hope this doesn't happen to you again. But now you could at least argue it. Thanks so much for the call. I got to wrap it at that. But I have one more text call before I let you go, Sean. Let me just get into the text question if I could. And the question is something I've always wondered. I see cars out there with a clear tint like vinyl in the headlights. Light can pass through no problem. But I've seen red, green, and blue. Is that legal?
It's absolutely illegal. The only colors you can project forward are white or yellow, and any tinting or any application to the front headlights is illegal.
All right,
$110.
Sean, $110. There it is again. Crowding when driving, $110. There you go. Sean, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure having you on, and I look forward to talking to you in a couple of weeks.
We'll see you then. Take care.
Here's Sean Shapiro, the TikTok traffic cop. All right. We got a lot coming up on the show today. I mean, it is just.
I will say goodbye to them. And since there was questions, I'll deal with the questions that we're dealing with right now. And then I got to go because there's other stuff to do. We are planning for the Honda Indy. I'm really excited about that. The Honda Indy has got to be one of the best events that we are involved with. One of the reasons it's the best event that we're involved with is it's one of the only events that we do post-COVID. And it is something that's near and dear to my heart. I have so many good friends as a result of being at the Honda Indy, and have met so many people in person from our audience. So it's a great opportunity to come out. And by the way, the first day of the Honda Indy, it's free entry. They want you to make a donation to Make-A-Wish Foundation. Great cause. So absolutely come and say hello. We'll be there for the whole week. I'll be there for the whole weekend. Morning, noon, and night. I'll be there from open to close. Now, back to Jonathan, who asked about seatbelts. So I don't know if a vehicle valet qualifies to not wear a seatbelt under the exemption for delivery drivers. Is it delivery? I'm reading your cut and paste here. It says here, frequent reentering applies to valid. Oh, you're saying you're. Let me look at the actual unedited version. I'm not suggesting you edit. I'm just saying I want to make sure I'm reading from the right source. Here we go, and I'm going to go into the code for seatbelts. Oh, I'm in criminal code. That's why I can't find it. I look up a lot of stuff. It's funny, we were talking about firearms and safe storage and transportation while I was in the other room, so I was in a different window. So let's go Highway Traffic Act. We're going to go to seatbelt. Why am I not in here? Who's on, what is that new app? Threads. Who's on Threads? That's what I want to know. I created an account like at 11 o'clock last night, and I should take Kelly's picture off because I keep thinking she's in the room with me. It's creeping me out. No, it's okay. It's not creeping me out. But I should probably take off the picture because she's not there. Here we go. All right. It's me again. All right. Is it rules of the road? No. What is the wording for seatbelt? Come on. Only when I'm wanting to find it. Equipment. Oh. Let me just search into this. Okay, because I was putting seatbelt as one word, and it's two words. Okay, drive with seatbelt removed 106 sub 1. Let's go into the nitty gritty here. Scrolling. I'm going through tons of stuff, but it's worth it to get the answer. And this isn't the regular show, so I can take a few minutes to do this. All right, look at the assembly passenger exemptions. So you have an exemption for a person who is driving a motor vehicle in reverse. Did you know that? Reverse, you can actually not have your seatbelt on, because you're supposed to do it properly. You're supposed to be up off the seat, rotating your whole body. Someone who has a certificate by a legally qualified medical practitioner. Okay, it does qualify. It does. I think it would qualify for you as valet, but there's some conditions. So it says here, who is actually engaged in work which requires him or her to alight. That's a good word. Alight's not a word I've used likely ever. To alight from and re-enter the motor vehicle at frequent intervals, and the motor vehicle does not travel at a speed exceeding 40 kilometers per hour. I think that you could articulate that. Now, I will say this, regardless of the exemption being in place, it takes 2 seconds to put a seatbelt on, and collisions happen at slow speed just as many times as they do, if not more, than at high speed. So it's still safer to wear a seatbelt whenever you're going to be moving that motor vehicle. But I think you would have an out in that section. Yep. That's 106, and it's the what is it? 106.6. Yeah, subsection 6, section C. Who covers it? You've got it on screen here. So, hey, look at that. You got it right on screen. All right. Done. What? Akela says he's not allowed to go to the Indy. Really? That's very disappointing, Akela. I'm attending the communication center and data entry information session. Anything I should know? This is for employment. You know what? Just listen to everything. Ask questions. You want to know as much as you can about everything before becoming a member of our service. Talk to people who are members. Ask if there's someone that you can ask questions to. Find someone who would mentor or recruit you, like a recruiter. Good things to do. Am I allowed to drive a Lamborghini on a G2 license? There is no restriction based on the make, model, or style of your car. So you can. I don't know if I want the responsibility of driving a Lamborghini that doesn't belong, but if they'll rent you one and you buy all the extra insurance because you don't want to get caught with a $200,000 party prize. Private property exemption for seatbelt. It's not that there's an exemption on private property. It is based on the fact that I cannot lay a charge for not wearing a seatbelt on private property. Should I dress a certain way, bring anything specific with me? Business, professional. If you have a suit, if it's whether it's suit dress, whatever it is, formal, not a tuxedo, but It shouldn't be khakis and a tee. Like it should be, you dress business, a business dress, business attire. When for any job, it should be. I would even wear a proper business stuff, even if I was going to work for a surf shop. If I was going for the interview, I want to be as put together as possible. But that's just me. You do you. But I would certainly say for police, absolutely. What do we got here? Tracy's having a conversation with Hope. What is this one? Oh, come on. We get scrolling. Things are scrolling. That's my biggest complaint today. Is the things that scroll faster than I can read. Bring anything with me. I would bring a notepad. Even if you are used to taking notes on a computer, bring a pen and paper. You can get away with making notes on pen and paper. You'll look like you're distracted and playing video games or not paying attention if you're on a phone. Okay. Can someone be pulled over for playing loud music in the car? It's almost like you saw the video I posted yesterday because I answered that question in that video. You should go check it out. But yes, you can. You can be pulled over. You can be pulled over for anything and just for checking to see if you have a license. But certainly you can be charged for playing loud music in the car. And people say, well, is there a decibel rating? How does the police know that that's an illegal level of music? Well, we have eyes and we have ears and we use them. So if I'm watching you and I'm listening to you and it's an unreasonable amount of noise, unacceptable even, like everyone who walks by is pointing like, who is that person who's listening to music so loud that we can't think, we can't communicate, that the dogs are crying and babies are crying. Like whatever observations I make, I can't be the upset person. It doesn't mean anything if I'm upset by your music. It matters that other people are being impacted. Now, other people could be people sleeping inside the house, babies sleeping inside the house, businesses trying to operate, if it's impacting the community. So anyway, moving on. Somebody wants to know if we can tell the truth, if we have to answer if we're police. I remember reading that earlier. I don't know. I don't actually know when that question was asked, but I remember seeing it. And no, police don't have to answer you. We don't have to tell the truth. There's no obligation to identify ourselves as police officers if we're undercover, if we're in plain duty. Like there's no law. I remember in the movie, it's like, undercover officer goes to buy drugs from drug dealer. Drug dealer says, "Are you a cop? You have to tell me, because if you're a cop, it's illegal not to." So the guy says, "I'm not a cop." The guy sells some drugs, and then he gets arrested. We don't have to admit that we're cops when we're undercover. Oh my goodness! What is this? Or is it the tuner's responsibility? Where if you're turning right on a red, full stop, of course, and someone is doing a left turn. Am I missing part of this question? The deal is, though, everyone is involved in making turns is responsible for ensuring that they can make that turn safely. So there you go. I can't actually track this question because questions are coming in so quickly. The Grinch says we can really see the grays. But I guess I don't know if I changed the lighting enough or it's darker, but yeah, my grays are gray and I'm proud of them. I you know what? Someone asked me if I would dye my beard black. And I'm like, no, I earned these grays. Calm Down says, why 95% of drivers never make a full stop before turning right on a red? I won't say it's 95%. I will say that there is a small minority of people who don't know how to drive. And I'm told that certain countries don't require a stop at a right turn on red. I've just been told that in the last month. It is required here, but it does make sense as to why there's so many people who have no idea how to handle it. And all of those people deserve tickets. Now, I did a podcast episode. I really have to get some more podcast episodes out. If you know anybody in the traffic space who are in some way connected to Toronto and safety, and they want to be on a podcast like TPS Traffic Jam, let me know. You should send me a message. But I heard from the folks at the automated enforcement team that one person got 4 tickets at the same traffic light, driving around the street, around the corner, making laps, I guess, waiting for somebody. So they got 4 tickets for the same thing, which was rolling the stop on a right turn. They were so many people just don't know. Okay. Yeah, see, Emma supports the don't die the gray. Oh, I got a new follower on I can't say the name. Threads. I have to look and read it because it's been around for it's been in my headspace for about 24 hours, maybe less. And I don't know how I feel about this yet. By the way, I love being in this office, this new space. Why do I love it? Because people are having full-on conversations on the other side of the door, and all I have is a muffled, and before, you'd be hearing every word they said. So this move into the office is good. Now, I noticed Peter and Will and Dustbin about saying the TikTok traffic cop, TTC or TTTC. Yeah, I don't mind that, except for the potential confusion with the Toronto Transit Commission. I mean, aside from that, TTC or TTTC, is it the triple TC? Maybe it's triple TC. That could work. But as much as I'm the TikTok traffic cop, I'm really just voiceover cop. And is that VOC? Would that be a VOC? It doesn't work. Sounds like I'm a character on Star Trek. As VOC, I say this. What is the punishment for driving alone with only a G1? You're looking at a ticket for $110 for drive unaccompanied, along with a 30-day suspension on conviction for your first time, second time, 90 days, third time getting kicked out of the program. Oh, we have drama. What's the drama? Would garbage truck be considered to be entering the roadway when leaving a stop to pick up garbage? So they're on the roadway. If they were to cause a collision, we would charge them for start from stop position, not in safety. If they caused a collision, they're on the roadway already. They're not entering, but they have to do it safely, and they have to yield to the traffic that's already going. So if they don't, they're making problems. What are the laws on being driven in the bed of a pickup truck? Okay. Let me rephrase it so I stay safe. If you are driving or someone's driving and you have passengers in the pickup truck bed, it's illegal in Ontario. Every person being transported in a motor vehicle must be occupying a seat designed to hold passengers and with seat belts available for them. You cannot put more than one person in a single seat belt. So there you go. Can I tow two trailers behind me, pickup, camper, and boat? So I for the longest time I've said no, because it was based on I think a gross weight and commercial vehicle status also qualified. So a big big RV would be permitted to. And Sergeant Campbell was saying something about pickup trucks. I don't think that's changed, but he does. So I would contact the MTO for clarification, because I don't think it is. He thinks it is. I don't want to give you bad advice, so err on the side of don't do it. I think it's extremely dangerous regardless. Do you get paid to stream? I am being paid right now. I'm a member of the Toronto Police Service. I'm on duty. I'm a media relations officer. I work at traffic safety programs, and part of what I do is education. So this stream started with me being on radio for an interview. I do a segment with AM640 twice a month. I do a segment twice a month with Newstalk 1010 in the mornings. I jump on all the time to be interviewed for various things for television and radio. So this is me just continuing along after I already did my interview. And I'm just continuing to answer questions because people are here. 2,007 people have been through the live. How many people are actually in the live right now? That's, let's see here. Thank you, Big Jeff Fresh, who says I wear my gray with honor, as does he. Michael joined Kick. Welcome to Kick, Michael. He's jumping. He's on all the platforms. He's everywhere. Turning left at an intersection. The other car is also going left opposite direction. The car goes around and runs into the side of you. That particular scenario, if they drove, it could be both of you who were partially at fault. It depends on the semantics. Like there's little nuanced details that I'd want to know to be able to make a determination. But the people who are turning, very often it's the person turning across a lane of traffic that would be more responsible, but depends. You're turning left. You're the person traveling, and the other car is also making a left going. So you meet in the middle? Oh, it's just 50-50 probably. Who's at fault? Oh, Michael wants to kidnap Akela and take him to the Honda Indy. How late is the Honda open on Friday? How late is Sean there? I'm there from beginning to end, open to close. Hopefully I can open my email without crashing things here. I'm going to tell you the hours of the show. And the hours of the show are, here we go. Apparently, 7:30 to 6:30 on Friday, 7:30 to 6:30 on Saturday, and 7:30 to 5:30 on Sunday. And I'll be there for the duration. It's very cool to be able to ask questions live, no matter how small or large. Absolutely. And if it was just two people here, I'd be doing it. So I'm always happy. We do this Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern time. So we're all over social media, really just to be here and accessible for you. That's the only reason we do this. We're not being paid by TikTok to do this. It's because we want to have engagement. We want to have ourselves out there to be a source of good information. Because there's so many people who want to know things and aren't going to call the police, even though they could call the police and they could call the police and hopefully they get a hold of me, because not everybody knows the same stuff. I'm not saying that nobody knows the stuff that I know. Many of us know exactly the same stuff, but you don't always get someone who knows everything or as much. I'm going to stop talking now before somebody gets offended. If what is this? If I have car air freshener tree hanging on my mirror, is that a violation? It could be obscuring the driver's view. If you have one, it's unlikely. If you have 50, which I've seen, because some people try and mask the smell of the marijuana they're carrying, or that used to be the thing, that would be an obscuring the vision, the view. Can an e-bike go beyond 32 kilometers an hour if the person pedaling is beyond 32 kilometers on their own? So 32 kilometers an hour, 32 kilometers an hour on a flat surface is electric only. If you're pedaling beyond that, that would change things. However, it's unlikely, because half the vehicles that you're going to, like a pedelec that requires you to pedal, that can go above 32. A throttle only e-kick scooter, or sorry, not e-kick scooter, a throttle only e-bike, the person pedaling, those bikes are not designed to be pedaled. Not really. The pedals are for looks. Oh, What are we talking about here? What's the difference between a U.S. temp license and a G1? I don't know. Depends on what the U.S. temp license is. G1 is a license that requires a fully licensed driver with 4 years experience to be the front seat passenger supervising the learner. It's a learner's permit only. Sean Stewart wants to know if you can make a left at a red light to another one-way. Sorry, can you make a left on a red light from a one-way to another one-way? And that is the only time you can make a left on a red. I have okay, we talked about that. Things are just popping in. Apparently, Akela is condoning or permitting his abduction to go to the show. Did I say 9 to 10? Who said 9? Did I say I go live from 9 to 10? It is 10 to 11. I used to do 9 to 10. Did that just mysteriously, did I change my times? I get caught saying the wrong stuff when it comes to many things. The old memories kick in. I don't know how it works. Apparently, I've got a mind of my own, or my subconscious has a mind of its own. Shajivan, I don't know how to pronounce your name. I apologize. But please give me a phonetic. Now I really want to know how to pronounce your name. But hi, I was here yesterday. Can I drive in Toronto with a UK driving license, or do I need an international driving permit? You can drive in Ontario, and Toronto is in Ontario, with a UK license. No IDP required, as long as you're staying here less than 6 months as a visitor. If you're becoming a resident, you have 3 months to apply for a local. I got it right. Well, I'm glad. That makes me happy. The one thing that for instance, my name being Sean, spelled S-E-A-N, I can't tell you how many times I've been told, especially the drive-through, order for Cian, order for Cian, order for, I never get Sean, or very rarely get Sean. So it bothers me much. It's the only time I got it was when I was being called a leprechaun in public school. So, those that understand that it's an Irish roots name got the spelling right, or got the pronunciation right. How much info do you have on someone when you pull them over? just infractions or manual notes? Well, manual notes, I'm not going to be getting manual notes on somebody, but I mean, how deep a dive do I want to take? At an initial stop, I'm going to get any record that comes back from criminal search, any record that comes back from an internal search of our records, anything flags, like things come up. So it depends on what depends on what there is to find on you. But obviously, we're not searching a person; we're searching a car, so we don't know who's in the car until we pull it over. Usually, we may know who owns the vehicle. I've been asked why I'm so awesome. I just can't help it. No, thanks very much. Manual cars get 10 times respect points. They are a fantastic theft deterrent too. Manual cars. Let's see here. Yeah, I got a friend of mine who will not drive. He will not drive an automatic. He bought a Subaru that he had to get like imported from somewhere in Canada. That the only dealership that had one. And vehicles are they're stopping. They don't manufacture manual transmissions for all vehicles now. It's really, there's a limited selection. He had very specific wants. He's a family guy. He's got to be able to have room for the kid, but he wanted to have manual, and he did that in his Mercedes that he had before the Subaru. And I don't think I've ever seen him drive an auto. Oh no, he had an auto, but I think he gave it to his parents. He had a like a Magic Wagon that he got used for Magic Wagon, some itty bitty wagon that they don't have anymore. I'm too old to learn manual cars. Imagine learning on the roads getting yelled at. No, you know what? Modern manuals are not that hard to learn on. You have synchro mesh transmissions from so many of them, making it really easy to shift. Obviously, high performance vehicles will probably have more finicky gearboxes, but you have hill holder brakes, so you don't roll backwards. It's a lot easier to drive a manual transmission vehicle now. Oh, but Emma's not going to do it. Too much anxiety. I get it. Listen, the one thing that it forces you to do is focus on driving. I think it's great. I think you have safer drivers who understand more about the road, feel the road differently, anticipate their next move. It becomes like a video game, and not to be fast, but to be beating your score. You know, how smooth can you be? How can you be in the right gear before you have to change and from decelerating to accelerating? It changes the way you drive. And I drove motorcycle or road motorcycle, which is of course manual, and it's not the same because you don't have the gearbox. It's a ratchet system, but you're still manual. I quite like it. Can a careless driving charge get dropped in court? How long does that usually take? Anything can happen anywhere. Any charge can be dropped. Any charge. See, they may withdraw it because it took so long to get to court. They could withdraw it because the officer doesn't arrive. They could withdraw it because they make a deal and you plead guilty to a lesser offense. That type of thing. So, hey, we're finished with the radio. We've just been dealing with some questions because they're live. So I'm still on, but do you need me? Not TPS ones. We have some school crossing guard ones, and they're horrific. I do have keychains, and I do have other swag.
I need to find
A hat for yourself?
Nope.
Okay. We do not have hats. Wait, people want keychains now. I don't have keychains. I have a few keychains. I will have keychains I will have some swag at Honda Indy. Yes. How about from Montreal? What were we talking about? Now I've forgotten what the question was. Yes, you can still drive in Montreal. I think if you go to trafficcop.ca or voiceovercop.ca, they both work. They go to my link tree, and on the link tree, there's a document for driving in every province, and you can get all that detail there. I think they'll accept it equally in Montreal, which is in Quebec. Let's see here. Column shift. Back in the day, I will be driving a column shift vehicle to the Honda Indy. We have a 57 Chevy that's going to be going there. And we drive that, and it's column shift. And I had to relearn how to do it by refreshing my memory on YouTube. YouTube really is the best thing ever. How do you get a glasses restriction removed from an Ontario license? Go to the Ministry of Transportation, Service Ontario, take a new eye test. If you've had surgery and no longer required, they will give it to you. I don't need glasses anymore. I actually have worn glasses since I was 4 years old. I went through about a decade of not wearing glasses because I had laser surgery, but I'm so fanatical about sharp vision that when I had a little shift in my prescription where I needed just a little something because I'm a photographer, I wanted it to be perfectly clear, so I went and got glasses just to sharpen it, but I don't require them for driving. I do require them for reading now, which is really, really the worst part about getting old. I can deal with gaining weight. I can deal with, having a sore back, but not being able to read my phone without glasses drives me bonkers. Well, no, that's not true. I can read my phone with glasses, but I have to hold it like about there. Yeah, right about there. What is this question? Something about, I see the fine, so I know Emma's talking about radar detectors. What's the fine for radar detector? Yeah. So not only is it the 170 in searching your vehicle, it is the seizure of the device, which of course you cannot have. So that could be an $800 device. It's poof, gone. Not allowed to have. Seized. Dylan wants to know about the proper way to use a roundabout, single and double lane. I have no experience with double lane. However, the biggest thing to know is that you go into it without signaling. There's no requirement to signal. And some roundabouts don't allow you to change lanes between them. My personal experience is with single lane. And then you must exit the lane, or you must signal your exit from the roundabout. And those who are entering must yield to those already in the roundabout. And I think that covers it. Does America and Canada share databases? In terms of driving records and stuff like that, we have access to, we can request information from everywhere. So we'll do, Interpol for across Europe. We'll be able to search American databases. We're all tied together. Is MTO allowed to give me a ticket for speeding? I'm going at the same speed as them. Yes, because MTO is legally permitted to exceed the speed limit. You are not. Are you required to roll down the window all the way when stopped? It has to be reasonable. No, you don't have to roll it all the way down. But if I can't hear you and you're preventing me from communicating and understanding you and vice versa, then I might ask you to do it down. And if you're refusing to do it and I still can't understand it, you're now preventing me from doing my job. And can I arrest you? Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to give you lots of warning. I'm going to tell you what's going on. I'm going to give you the whole take it and open it or else. But I'm going to tell you what the or else is. And then I've had officers who smash windows and drag people out of the window because it happens. Can I relocate my license plate on the bottom of my windshield? No, it needs to be on the front bumper. Doesn't matter left or right side. It can be on the front grille, but it has to be the front, the actual front of the vehicle. What is the difference between careless and dangerous driving? Careless driving, which is driving with undue care and is that the wording? Anyway, it's a HTA offense, whereas dangerous driving is a criminal code offense. And dangerous driving is really putting lives at risk clearly without question, and you making a conscious decision to do that. In criminal stuff, there's mens rea. There's that active mind to do it. You know it's dangerous, and you're still choosing to do it. Careless is just being careless. You're looking at your phone while speeding, and you crash into something. That's still careless. You weren't driving, focusing on what you were supposed to do. Possibly the worst description of that I've ever given, but that's what we're sticking with today. Oh my goodness, I gotta go. I really gotta go. It's almost time for me to depart and go elsewhere. And with that, Kevin wants to know about boyfriend coming from the Philippines and has his license. He's allowed to drive here. I would suggest also checking to see if the Philippine license is available. Or to be used here. Let me see if the link actually gives it to you. Wrong button I pressed. Hang on, let me close that. I am now curious because there's a list of countries, almost everywhere I should say is permitted, but there are certain places where it's not. And I'm actually really curious. Is a Filipino license permitted? Car, driving rules, buying, safety. How about visiting? Newcomers. Maybe this is more reading than I can do right now. Yeah, it's too much reading. I would say that likely yes. There are sites that clearly state, and there are very few, but he may need a international driving permit issued by the Philippines. Is it legal to block the pedestrian line to, where's the rest of it? Karen says, thank you, love listening to you. Well, thank you, Karen. I appreciate the thank you, and I'm glad that you enjoy listening to the show that we do. And well, I guess not this is just an extra that is beyond the show, but it is still awesome that you appreciate it. So you'll come back again. If you're watching us and you don't know who I am, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police officer with the Toronto Police Service. I should probably tell people that on a regular basis. I normally come on the air from 10 to 11. I think I said 9 to 10 earlier, at least I was called out for it. And I will, and I go live from 10 to 11 to answer your traffic and police questions. And that's what we do. So if you want to hear us again, we'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. to do it for Friday. Friday is our big celebration, which is really just the same show with a different name. It's the Friday Ask a Traffic Cop. And I gotta follow me and I follow you, bro. That's Canna Bicos. I'm happy to follow you. I have like 8 followers on Kick, but I'm still there. I'm still doing it. Absolutely. I'll you put a comment in, I'll be able to pull that up later and follow you back. Okay, Austinator Reed says, hey from TikTok. Hey from TikTok. You're on Facebook, Austinator. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Cool. We're good there. I'm just checking to see if I've got, what is this? Oh, Shadow Band says thanks. Oh, actually he says thanks for, it doesn't say thanks. It just says waste of my tax dollars. Only if you don't appreciate it, but everybody else does. So I guess you're the only person who's not appreciating it, because everybody else seems to think this is fantastic. Like, we have 623,500 followers now, which is, wow, awesome. I don't know what our account. What's our account? Anybody looking at the account? I have not been paying attention, but we recently jumped up about 500 followers, which is amazing. Thank you to everyone who follows us on TikTok and every other platform, because you are who we do this for. Not for Shadow Band. Yeah, he probably doesn't pay taxes. Okay. Let's see. Oh, we got some followers. Cool. If my parents have insurance on their car, but I don't have insurance, can I still drive their car? If you're a licensed driver, G2 or better, you can drive their car. However, if you live with them, the insurance company is going to want you to be on their policy, or they could deny your claim. Let's see here. Been a while since I joined the live. How's it going? It's going well. Thanks for joining live again. It's good to see you. Although, is this a new username or an old username? Either way, glad to have you back. Okay, lots of folks jumping in. Sure, I'm saying goodbye, and now everyone shows up. I'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. to do it all over again. Sadly, not on the radio, but I will. That was what we started out here with Kelly Cutrara, and yeah. Now I want to go home, because I'm sure there's something I'm supposed to be doing when I leave here, other than not being here. All right, have a safe day. Have a safe day. Drive sober. Park legally. Have fun. Stay hydrated. It is not good outside. It is a warm day. And my air conditioning is suboptimal right now. I think I need to put some refrigerant in the line. And I just bought a new tool for measuring how much I have, a new machine. Have you ever done that? You can actually make your air conditioning more functional by putting in more refrigerant. Who knew? I didn't have to throw out the car. I was going to throw out the car. All right, have a good one, folks. Take care.